Hi everybody, it's April and it is week 9 of the 8-week HST challenge. What are we going to do today? We're going to turn these into a quilt. So originally I said we're going to have an 8-week challenge, and we did have an 8-week challenge. We had 8 weeks of making half square triangle blocks. It's really going to be a 10-week challenge because I've made these blocks. Now I need to make them into something, right? We want to finish this project. And I believe I'm going to be making one more half square triangle block because I need one more to fill in my area. Now I have a plan in my mind, and we know that doesn't always go well. My first plan is to find a half square triangle, design, and make another block. I don't know what that's going to look like yet. It could just be a duplicate of one of my favorites, but there's no challenge in that, right? So the first thing I'm going to do is not make that additional half square triangle block. The first thing I'm going to do is put these 4 blocks together, because in my mind this is one block. It's made up of 4 blocks, but the starburst is one block. Doesn't that look great? Of course I hung it up crooked. I always hang them up crooked. But I really like how putting that black border frames this. So this is going to be a sampler pattern that I come up with that I hope to be able to reuse. This border is a little longer than my block. What I'm going to do is, as I sew, I am going to put the edge of this border at the edge of my block. And see how it's kind of flimsy right there right now? When I start sewing, it stretches out, and that is how I coax the fabric, especially the border, to fit this block. So up here, just every little bit, there's just a little bit more fabric than what it might have taken had I pulled it like this and let it go past the edge of my block. So here, going to and I have coaxed my border into fitting this block. If your border is too long, you're going to match it up. If your border is too short, you're going to match it up. And then you're going to let the increased tension on your fabric as your feed dogs are pulling it through help you to make your border match the size of your block. Here's one where my border isn't quite long enough. So I like to wait until I get onto the table, but here you can see that bottom part of the block showing. So I'm going to do the same thing that I did for my block that wasn't quite as long as my border, and I'm going to match up the edge of my border to the edge of my block. Now here, you're not going to see any fullness because this is taking out. It's using the excess fabric in the block, not the border. But here I still have it matched, so I just push up the block fabric. And by the time I'm at the end, the edge of the border matches the edge of the block. Now, if there was a stark difference, that wouldn't work. You know, if you're, I don't know, 3/4 of an inch too short, that's not going to work. But if you're just off by, say, 1/8 of an inch or 1/4 of an inch, you should be able to work out with the fabric, getting it to match. I have made some progress, and I've also figured out how I'm going to form this quilt. And my ultimate goal is to have this row, or these blocks in this row, end up being the same width as these blocks in this row and these blocks in that row. These two blocks were the same as these two blocks, but they had a frame. So instead of putting the strip in between, I just sewed these two blocks together. And I also rearranged a little bit. So instead of having these two blocks together, I separated them. And instead of having these two pinwheel blocks together, I separated them. So I kind of moved the interest around. I also put this star block down here because this particular fabric is only in 2 of my blocks. So I didn't want those 2 blocks to be right next to one another. Here's my plan. I'm going to sew all of those blocks together. I'm going to sew these blocks together, and I'm going to sew these blocks together. And then I'll have a row, and I will add the black to the top and the bottom. And I will do the same thing here. Then this is looking a little square to me, so I want to add a row here, or a strip here, and a strip here. And I want it to be a fairly wide strip. Now I'm already going to gain some length when I add the top and the bottom strips to these 2 rows. So let me get those 3 rows put together, and then I can figure out about how wide I want my strip of white fabric here and here. I am making progress. So here I have all of these blocks together, and I have all of these blocks together. However, this row is longer than that row. So I've got this extra border, which is really, if I take it out here, it will look fine. So I just need to do a little seam rip here and a little seam rip here, and then I'll take one of these off. So I just have the one border strip in the middle. We're getting close. I need your help. So here is the almost completed quilt, but I have a dilemma. I don't know if I should use this strip in between these blocks or if I should use the white strip. Now let me bring you in a little closer so you can get a better look. So here is this geometric Tula pink, black, and white. And this black strip would be put across the bottom of that top strip and the top. And then I would have the geometric And of course it would go all the way across the top. That's one option. Or, again, there will be a black strip above and below this strip. But this would be the white that would separate the blocks on both the top and the bottom. So there it is. Not quite finished, but close. So if you could put your suggestion in the comments below, probably this weekend, since I really should be publishing this Monday, so in 6 days. I think she just likes to be on camera, so she starts whining when I start wrapping up. I want to finish this by next Monday. So if you could put your comment and say whether or not you want the black and white or the white strip. And based on the comments, that's what I'm going to do. I think it's going to be really cute when I get done. I'm loving the black and white. Now the 3 Quilt Amigas, who are Di from Sister Chicks, Tracy from the Sewing Channel, and myself, are having a retreat. And we are having it in Hamilton, Missouri, the quilt capital of the world. Maybe just the U.S., but we're going to call it of the world. And you know, I'm from Kentucky, so Paducah's a close, and it's a race. But we are going to have a retreat. We are going to have prizes. We are going to have food. We are going to have fun. We are going to make new quilty friends, and I cannot wait until next April. So I'm going to leave a link in the description below. Please go and check it out. And if you have any questions, there is an email address, 3quiltamigas@gmail.com. You can send your questions there and we will answer them. I'm also going to Ireland next September. So if you want to take the trip of a lifetime, then check the description below and see if maybe that would be another trip you're interested in going on next year. Have a great day, eat some chocolate, be kind to everyone, and until next time.